So we are at the Make Web Not War hackathon at Kung Fu. I'm with Stéphane. Would you like to introduce yourself for people that don't know you?
Sure. Stéphane Guidoin, I'm working for Open North, so we are a non-profit working in the open data field and open government. And I'm officially director for transportation solutions, so I'm working with transportation data, but I'm very open to do anything else.
Good. So OpenNord, obviously you said open data. What is open data?
So basically, since 2005, we consider as open data as any data published by the government for the purpose of being reused. So in order to be considered open data, it has to be published, but it also has to come with a license that is really open in terms of reuse, redistribution, and so on, including commercial use. So it means that, let's say that we have some transportation data. I have the right to take those data and really include them in an application that I can sell, and the government will not sue me, but they will even be happy to have that because it's more visibility and better use of the data that they own and that they publish.
Good. So you work at OpenNord. So what is doing OpenNord? And actually, is there any other organization in Canada around open data?
So in fact, there are two different categories of organization. There are the one doing mainly advocacy. So those are, you have Québec Ouvert and Montréal Ouvert here, but there is also the Open Data Society of British Columbia, for example, doing that. And it's mainly local in terms of focus. So you will have one for almost each city, and sometimes for some provinces. What we are, Open North, is a different beast. We are not doing advocacy. We are really coding. We are developing and producing some tools, either to demonstrate the power and the strengths of open data, but also to make open data more accessible for citizens. So, because open data sometimes it's some files or some format, or it's raw data, so it's not easy for citizens to access and then understand it. So we are really focusing on using those data, make them relevant for citizens, and eventually provide citizens a way to interact with those data and even provide some feedback. So, for example, we are developing a budgetary consultation tool where cities can put their current budget here and start a consultation where people with some slider can say, okay, I want more of this service or less of this service, more snow removal, less swimming pool opening. And so based on governmental data and ideally open data, citizens can see and feel what it is to have a budget and prepare a budget and do some choice. But since it's a consultation, it's also a way for citizens to give their point of view and their what they want to see in terms of changes for the budget. So it's really trying to do both, take the data and make them available for the citizen and have a kind of feedback loop from the citizen to the government.
Good. So actually, for me, there is like two avenues. As a citizen, I can now see data that I didn't have access before. So it's really good for me because I can find information that I may not be able to find in the past. And as a technical guy, as a developer, I can use these data to create my application, to create a web application, a mobile application, whatever kind of application. I can use those data that are publicly available, sometimes from companies, from government, from cities. So I think it's really great. So as a developer, if I want to start to use those data in my application, or if I want to participate, like there is a lot of data, open data enthusiasts like you. If I want to be like one of those people, where can I start? What can I do?
Well, many of the advocacy organizations are doing some hackathons on a fairly regular basis. So there was one big on the Feb 23rd for the International Open Data Day. So that's probably usually where people are starting. There are developers I used to do some hackathon, and we are doing some great events around open data, and we do have some very interesting projects that are coming out of it. And then after that, if you're really interested to continue in supporting the movement, then you can, for example, for Open North, we have some volunteers that are helping us to build some project where it's more difficult to get some funding. So we like, and obviously we are very happy to help anybody who would like to volunteer with us. But I'd say that it's not only Open North and the organization that are, I would say, pure open data. Anybody that does some applications, some tools, commercial or not, that use open data are good for us, in the sense that they are demonstrating that governments are not doing that for nothing, and that it's really valuable to have those data around. And some people will do applications that are only based on open data. So the typical example is a transit application that will give you, how to go from point A to point B using public transportation. But you also have a fairly high amount of application that do or could benefit from open data because they would improve the usability and the service that they can provide if they incorporate some open data. And that's very important too, because as I said, it really demonstrates that it's not only one of the arguments that we used in the past was a lot of government transparency. So the fact that government publish what they do, publish their budget and so on. But there's also a question of economic development that is there, and having some people that build either public apps that are visible or doing some business intelligence based on data that is public is also very important for us. And it helps us to go and see government and say, yeah, those few data set that you open, these have been done with it. And if you do more, we will have even more value and more people using them.
Yeah, so make total sense. One last thing, you talk about Open Nerd. So where can we reach you? What is the site? Or if we have any question, can we talk to you maybe on Twitter?
Yeah. So we have a Twitter account, Open North, and even in French, Nord Ouvert. And we also have a website, there again, opennorth.ca or nordouvert.ca.
Awesome. So thanks for your time.
You're welcome.